Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel Civil Line. Myself Milan Patel, Assistant Professor at LG Institute of Engineering and Technology. Today we will start a new topic which is water and wastewater engineering. This is the first lecture of this topic. In today's lecture we will understand the introduction of water and wastewater. Second, we will understand what is potable water and what are the various standards of potable water. And lastly, we will understand about the characteristics of water and wastewater. So let's start with introduction. So what is water? Water is the natural resource which forms basis of all life. It is the key resource in all economic activity ranging from agriculture to industry. Water is an essential commodity to all life. Without water, there can be no life. Every living thing, plants, animals, and people must have water to live. Okay? Earth has tremendous amount of water. 3/4 of the Earth's surface is covered by water. 97% of world's water is in the seas and oceans. This water is a saline water. Only 3% is present on continents or on the surface of the earth. This water is a fresh water, okay, or you can say a drinkable water. Now let's understand the various types of water. Basically, water is bifurcated into two types: surface water and groundwater. So what is surface water? It contains a lots of silts and clay, as water in a surface water source is mostly collected from the surface runoff. Okay, the river water is called as a surface water, or you can say a runoff water is called as a surface water. The quality of surface water changes with climate and the type of catchment area. Before using it as a drinking water, it should be given proper treatment. Second type of water is a groundwater. Okay, the water dissolves a large number of salt in it as it percolates down. Some groundwater contain higher iron content. It is harder than the surface water. The quality of groundwater is generally uniform. It differs to the surface water, is relatively free from suspended impurities because they are filtered as the water moves down from the number of different layers of the soil. Okay, for using groundwater as a drinking water, almost no treatment is required. Okay, only disinfection is required for drinking purpose. Okay, that's all about types of water. Now let's understand what is wastewater. Water after use is disposed of in the sea or a stream or a river. Such water which was used for domestic or industrial purposes is considered useless from the point of further use and is therefore disposed of to the river or sea. This disposable water is called as wastewater. The wastewater is 99% water and 0.1% solid. The main task in treating wastewater is simply to remove this 0.1% solids. Okay, there are also various types of wastewater is there. Okay, let's understand types of wastewater. Basically, there are two types of wastewater: domestic wastewater and industrial wastewater. So what is domestic water? It is the liquid waste from the community. It includes sewage, discharge from latrines, urinals, stables, residential buildings, office buildings, theaters, etc. Okay. Second type is industrial water. It is the liquid waste from the industry. Okay. That's all about the types of wastewater. Okay. Now let's move to the second topic in today's lecture, which is potable water and its standards. So what is potable water? It is also called as drinking water. Water which is fit or suitable for drinking purpose or which is not injurious to human health is called as potable water. The potable water should have the following properties. Okay, it should be colorless, it should be odorless, it should have good taste. Okay, It should not contain any harmful microorganisms in it or bacteria in it. Okay. This is called as potable water. These are the various requirements or properties of potable water. Okay. Now let's understand various drinking standards as per IS 10500:2012. This is the code for drinking water standards. In this code, one table is given like this. In table, desirable limit and permissible limit of various parameters are given. Like color of the water should be 5 Hazen. Okay, and the permissible limit of the color is 15 Hazen. Second, order should be measured in threshold number. Okay, then taste, turbidity should be measured in NTU. Okay, ineffable turbidity unit. Okay, it should be around 1 and should not be more than 5. Okay, pH value of the water should be between 6.5 to 8.5. Okay, there is no relaxation in pH value of the water as per IS 10500:2012. It should be between 6.5 to 8.5 for drinking purpose. Okay, total hardness, okay, should be around 200 or and the permissible limit is 600 milligram per liter of calcium carbonate. Okay, these are the various parameters. Okay, having desirable limits and permissible limits. Okay, this is the drinking water standard used in India. Okay. Now let's move to the third topic in today's lecture, which is characteristics of water and wastewater. We will start with characteristic of water. This characteristic of water can be bifurcated into 3 types: physical characteristics, chemical characteristics, and biological characteristics. First is physical characteristics. In physical characteristics, 5 parameters are calculated. First is temperature. For drinking purpose, temperature should be around 10 degrees centigrade. If the temperature of the water is greater than 25 degrees centigrade, water is objectionable. The thermometer can be used for measuring the temperature of the water. Second parameter in physical characteristic is color. Pure water is colorless. Color in the water is due to the presence of foreign substances or number of organic matters. Color is measured in Hazen unit using tintometer. This is a tintometer. Okay, this can be used for measuring color of the water. Okay. Third is taste and odor. Pure water is odorless and tasteless. Taste and odor of the water is due to the presence of dissolved solids or dissolved gases in it. Okay, odor is measured in terms of threshold odor number by osmoscope instrument. This is the osmoscope instrument which is used for measuring odor threshold number. Okay. Fourth is turbidity. So what is turbidity? It is the dirtiness of water due to the presence of suspended materials like clay, silt, fine organic materials, etc. It depends on fineness and concentration of particles present in water. It can be measured in NTU, which is Nephebolic Turbidity Unit. It is measured by turbidity rod, Jackson turbidimeter, Baylis turbidimeter, and nephelometer. This nephelometer is shown in this figure. This instrument is mainly used for measuring turbidity of the water. This picture shows the proportion of turbidity in water. This is the pure water, okay, having low turbidity, and this is the water having high turbidity, having high number of solids and number of gases in it. Okay, and the last parameter in physical characteristic is conductivity. So what is conductivity? Conductivity means ability to pass electricity. Pure water has zero conductivity because it doesn't have the number of solids in it. Okay, if conductivity of water is not zero, means presence of dissolved solid in it. Okay, greater the dissolved solids means the higher the conductivity of the water. Okay, these are the various physical characteristics of water. Now let's understand the chemical characteristics of water. In chemical characteristics, first parameter is total dissolved solids. It is also called as TDS. They are composed of inorganic salts, mainly chlorides, sulfates, and bicarbonates of calcium, magnesium, potassium, and sodium. TDS of water can be measured by evaporation method for TDS meter. Okay, its desirable limit is 500 milligram per liter. Okay, this is the TDS meter which can be used to measure the TDS of the water. Okay, TDS of water should not be more than 500 milligram per liter. Okay. Second is chloride content. It is in water in the form of calcium, magnesium, and sodium chlorides. Concentration about 250 milligram per liter gives a salty taste in drinking water, which is not preferable. Okay, so the chloride content in water should not be more than 250 milligram per liter. Third is hardness. Hardness of water may be defined as the soap destroying property of the water. It may be of two types: temporary hardness and permanent hardness. Temporary hardness is due to the presence of carbonate and bicarbonate of calcium and magnesium. It is also called as carbonate hardness. It can be easily removed by either boiling of water or by adding lime into the water. Okay. The permanent hardness is due to the presence of sulfates, chlorides, and nitrates of calcium and magnesium. It cannot be removed by boiling and requires some special methods of water softening like zeolite or solar dyeing process. The permanent hardness is also called as non-carbonated hardness. Okay, the hardness is measured in milligram per liter of calcium carbonate. EDTA method is mainly used to measure the hardness of the water. Hard water causes excessive consumption of soap in laundries. Okay, it forms deposits in the boilers also. Groundwater is comparatively more harder compared to the surface water. Okay, that's why hardness is calculated. Okay. Fourth is pH value. It indicates logarithm of reciprocal of hydrogen ion concentration present in water. It indicates acidity or alkalinity of water. Drinking water pH is around 6.5 to 8. At pH is equal to 7, water is neutral. At pH is equal to 0 to 7, water is acidic. If the value of pH is around 7 to 14, water is alkaline. Okay, this is how pH meter looks like. Okay, fifth is alkalinity. Alkalinity of water is a measure of its capacity to neutralize acids. For example, to absorb hydrogen ions without significant pH change. The alkalinity of water is due to the presence of carbonates, bicarbonates, and hydroxides of sodium, calcium, and magnesium. It causes bitter taste. It is expressed in milligram per liter of calcium carbonate. Okay. Sixth is acidity. It is the capacity of substances to neutralize hydroxyl ions. It is due to the presence of minerals and dissolution of carbon dioxide. It is measured in milligrams per liter of calcium carbonate. Presence of acidity causes the corrosion of metals and the pipelines. Interferes in treatment of water. Okay. Acidity also interferes in the treatment of water or in softening of water. Okay. Seventh chemical parameter is nitrogen and its compound. Presence of nitrogen means the presence of organic matter in the water. Okay. This organic matter is in the form of free ammonia, organic nitrogen, nitrites, and in nitrate forms. Okay. 8 is number of metals or number of toxic metals. Iron, copper, lead, cadmium, arsenic, chromium, fluorine, etc. are present in the water, which are toxic in nature, which are harmful for human health. It should be limited to the permissible amount as per IS 10500-2012 edition. In drinking water also, there are a number of metal and their desirable and permissible limit is given. Okay. And the last is dissolved gases. In dissolved gases, there are dissolved oxygen, carbon dioxide, and hydrogen sulfide is there in water. It should be removed by aeration process before drinking the water. Okay, that's all about various chemical characteristics of water. Now, let's understand various biological characteristics of water. The nature of water contains organisms like bacteria, viruses, and protozoa. But these pathogens, organisms which cause diseases are most important. Okay? The bacteria may be of two types, pathogenic bacteria and non-pathogenic bacteria. The pathogenic bacteria are more harmful because it causes diseases like cholera, typhoid, diarrhea, etc. The non-pathogenic bacteria is not harmful. Okay? It should be in water. If the non-pathogenic bacteria is not removed in the water, it's okay. Okay? But it is difficult to isolate these two, pathogenic and non-pathogenic bacteria, in the water. Okay? Combined pathogenic and non-pathogenic bacteria in this group is known as E. coli group. Okay? The presence of pathogens in water can be detected by following techniques. First is E. coli test and second is membrane filter techniques. These two methods are used to find out number of pathogens in water. Okay? That's all about biological characteristics, okay, of water, in which number of bacteria or microorganisms are found out and removed from the water. Now, let's understand characteristic of wastewater. Characteristics of wastewater is also bifurcated into three types: physical characteristics, chemical characteristics, and biological characteristics. First is physical characteristics of wastewater, in which four parameters are tested. First is color. The color of sewage can normally be detected by neck tag. It indicates the freshness of sewage. Okay, if the color of sewage is yellowish or grey or light brown, it indicates fresh sewage. If the color of the sewage is black or dark brown, it indicates stale or septic sewage. Okay. Second is odor. Initially, normal fresh sewage is odorless. Within 3 to 4 hours, all the oxygen present in sewage gets exhausted and starts emitting offensive odors. Okay. Third is temperature. Temperature has an effect on the biological activity of bacteria present in sewage. Temperature of water in India is about 20 degrees centigrade, which is ideal for biological activities. Okay. And the fourth is turbidity. Turbidity of water is due to suspension of fine particles in it. Turbidity is a measure of light emitting properties of wastewater. It depends upon the strength of sewage or wastewater. It increases as sewage becomes more strong. Okay, so more stronger the sewage is, the turbidity is higher. That's all about physical characteristics of wastewater. Now, let's move to the chemical characteristics of water. In chemical characteristics, there are a number of parameters are tested. First is total solids. Generally, sewage contains 99.9% water and 0.1% total solids. It is defined as all the matter that remains as residue upon evaporation to 103 degree to 105 degree centigrade is called as a total solids. These solids are bifurcated into four types. First is suspended solid, which remains floating in sewage. Second is dissolved solids, which remains dissolved in sewage just as salt in water. Third is colloidal solids, which remains either in solution or in suspension in finely divided form. And fourth is settable solids, which settles down if sewage is allowed to remain undisturbed for 2 hours. Okay, so these are the four types of solids which are present in this water. Okay. Second is pH value. Fresh sewage is generally alkaline in nature, having pH value between 7.3 to 7.5. As time passes, the pH value tends to be fall due to production of acids by bacterial actions. Okay. However, after oxidation, when it is relatively stable, it becomes alkaline again. So pH is changing as time is going on. At the starting, water is alkaline. Okay. After some time, water is acidic. And after oxidation, when the water is relatively stable, the water is alkaline again. Okay. Third is chloride contents. Chlorides are generally found in municipal sewage and derived from kitchen waste, human feces, and urinary discharges. Okay. Normal chloride content or domestic sewage is 120 milligram per liter. Okay, and the desirable chloride content for water supplies is 250 milligram per liter. Okay. Fourth is nitrogen contents. The presence of nitrogen in sewage indicates the presence of organic matter in the form of free ammonia, which indicates very first stage of decomposition. Second, nitrites, which indicates the presence of partly decomposed organic matter. Third is nitrates, which indicates the presence of fully oxidized organic matter. And the last, organic nitrogen, which indicates the presence of nitrogen before decomposition is started. Okay, so nitrogen is in the form of these four types: free ammonia, nitrites, nitrates, and organic nitrogen. Okay, so in chemical testing we have to find out these four types of nitrogen content. Okay. Fifth is presence of fats, oil, and gases. It is derived from discharge of animals, vegetable matters from garages, kitchens, hotels, or restaurants. Okay. Next is sulfides, sulfates, and hydrogen sulfide gas. They are formed due to decomposition of various sulfur-containing substances present in wastewater. Okay. It causes bad odor and corrosion of concrete sewer pipes. Next is toxic compounds. Copper, lead, silver, chromium, arsenic, boron are some of the toxic metals present in wastewater. They should be removed before discharging the water in the river. Okay, they are derived from industrial wastewater. Okay. Next is dissolved oxygen. Sewage generally does not have dissolved oxygen, but if present, it indicates wastewater is fresh. Okay. While discharging treated water in water body, it is essential to ensure that at least 4 ppm of dissolved oxygen is present in it. If dissolved oxygen is less, aquatic animals like fish are likely to be killed near the vicinity of disposal. Presence of dissolved oxygen also reduces bad odor. Okay. Next is biological oxygen demand, which is also called as BOD. And the last is chemical oxygen demand, which is also called as COD. So what is BOD? What is COD? What is the difference between BOD and COD? Let's understand. First, we will understand what is BOD and what is COD. BOD may be defined as the oxygen requirement of microorganism to carry out biological decomposition of organic matter in sewage under aerobic condition and standard temperature. While COD may be defined as oxygen requirement for the chemical decomposition of organic matter in sewage by strong oxidizing agent under acidic condition. Okay, the BOD test takes minimum of 5 days time, while the COD takes only 3 hours time. Okay, the BOD test gives the amount of biologically active organic matter in the sewage, while COD test gives the total of biological active as well as biologically inactive organic matter in the sewage. Okay, the test in BOD is not useful in the control treatment process, while the test in COD is useful in the control treatment process. BOD test is generally for domestic sewage only, while COD test is generally for industrial sewage also. BOD test does not determine the strength of sewage, while COD test determines the strength of sewage. In BOD, huge quantity of clear water is required to perform the oxidation of organic matters, while in COD can be achieved by controlling the amount of chemical oxidizing agents. Okay, BOD value is always smaller than COD value, while COD value is always greater than BOD value. So these are the 8 differences of BOD and COD. Okay, that's all about the chemical characteristics of water. Now let's understand various biological characteristics of wastewater. It is related to the presence of bacteria and microorganisms in wastewater. Bacteria is like this. This is the image of bacteria in wastewater. This bacteria is of 4 types: aerobic bacteria, anaerobic bacteria, pathogenic bacteria, and non-pathogenic bacteria. Aerobic bacteria are the bacteria which are present in the presence of air. Anaerobic bacteria are the bacteria which are present in the absence of the air. Okay. Pathogenic bacteria are the bacteria which are harmful. Okay. Non-pathogenic bacteria is not harmful, or it does not causes number of diseases. Okay. Microorganisms like algae, this is the algae. Second is fungi, and third is protozoa. Okay. This bacteria and microorganism in wastewater help in decomposition of sewage. Okay. But presence of pathogenic bacteria indicates the degree of pollution in sewage. So it is necessary to kill pathogenic bacteria before discharging wastewater into the river or sea, because it is harmful for number of people. Okay, because it causes number of diseases like cholera, typhoid, etc. Biological tests are carried out by microscope. These are the various microscopic images of bacteria and microorganisms. That's all about biological characteristics of wastewater. And that's all about characteristic of wastewater. I hope you all understand these 3 topics: introduction of water and wastewater, what is potable water, what are the properties of potable water, what are the various drinking standards as per Indian standard, what are the various testing on water and wastewater. See you soon in the next lecture. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel Civil Line. Thank you.